AITAH for divorcing my cheating wife, now that it's in my best interest to do so? I, 43 Anders, discovered my wife's 44F infidelity 8 years ago. My 2 kids were in primary school at that time, so I gave her another chance. It was somewhat genuine, as I was open to exploring if marriage can be saved, and if it can't be, my kids would be older and can take the brunt of divorce better. I also refused to budge on third kid that she wanted. I was not going to bring another kid in this marriage. To her credit, she has been an ideal wife since then, worked on herself, but I never really forgave her. I just learned to be okay with status quo, until now. I had an STEMI about a year ago. That changed my perspective. I got my cholesterol and blood pressure level down, start taking my fitness seriously, and I am now in best shape of my life. That triggered self-improvement in other areas of my life, my style, my profession, etc. With that came a nagging feeling. I can get a better partner than my wife. I want to go into retirement with a woman who never betrayed me. So I am leaving my wife. I was honest with her about the reason. I think I can do better than her. That's why I am leaving her. I told her she is still pretty, which is somewhat true, but what I need is a person who never cheated on me, and she can be that person. Since our kids are older now, her utility for me is decreasing with every passing day. There is no point delaying the inevitable. She is not happy is an understatement. She is accusing me of using her. She is also distressed about not having a third kid, thinks that I robbed her of a third kid, which I find most outrageous. She was willing to bring another kid in a broken marriage that she broke, and even if I left her 8 years ago, was she going jump on any D to get a baby? Has she no consideration of other 2 kids? I am basically ignoring her attempts to goad me into arguments and marching forwards with divorce. I am in best position to divorce now. Kids are older. I can date easily. AITAH, Anonymous Response 1, knowing that the guy tends to frame themselves in a more favorable light, and then him still thinking that is ever remotely okay to say, convinced me he's TA. I was suspicious, but that did it. It started at the thing where he says she's still pretty. I think he's using the cheating excuse because he got more attractive and thinks he can pull someone younger, hotter, or whatever, but has no good way out. That doesn't sound like a total D move. OP, I don't think you're in the right here, and IDK if you're lying to yourself or to us about the reason being the cheating. But I really don't think it's that. And the thing about bringing a third child into a broken marriage, she broke. Dude, to her it wasn't broken. She worked on herself and thought you had forgiven her. To her, you were happily married and moved past that hurdle. I get forgive, but don't forget is a thing, but this screams that you didn't leave her when the cheating happened simply because you didn't want to be alone and you didn't think you could get into another relationship. And now that you have the confidence that you could land a more physically attractive woman, you're jumping ship from what should have been a partnership. You may think you gave her a second chance, but it seems you checked out long ago and have been leading her on. I don't know you or your relationship, but that is what it seems like from here. You never really mention anything about your wife that a person who loves another person would mention. The most you could muster up is she's still pretty? Nothing about her as a person? A few words about how she bettered herself for you, when that likely took a lot of work and is something you should appreciate. Then some words about how you bettered yourself for you, which no problem, health is important, and taking care of yourself is good. But what have you done for her? All I see is her working toward a healed relationship after she breached your trust, and you thinking you can do better because you got more physically attractive while never seeming to have the same intention of healing that broken relationship. There is so much more than how attractive your partner is in a marriage, and it makes me so sad for your wife when you come off as this shallow and void of actual love for her. I'm not saying those things are necessarily true, but that's how this reads. Anonymous response 2. 100% chance he's going to bring all his disdain for his ex and his trust issues with women along with him into his next relationship. Everyone, including myself, who has dated someone with unresolved issues like that, knows it's hell. Everything about the new person is scrutinized and under a microscope. Their anger is explosive, and the level of possessiveness is the thing of nightmares. OP needs to just be single, or FWB only, and be in therapy for a while. Anonymous response 3. If I were in the dating scene and a man told me he left his wife because she cheated, I would feel sad for him. If he told me he left his wife because she no longer has any utility to him, I would run for the hills. Dude thinks he is a gem now, but I think he might have more work to do and doesn't realize it. If he goes into another marriage with this attitude, he is destined for a second divorce. I'm going with ESH. Anonymous response 4. Older guy thinking grass is greener is seriously going to be a massive reality check coming soon. Would have been far smarter to have left when it initially happened. Dating anytime can be troublesome. Dating in your 40s is going to be an absolute nightmare. It's one thing to leave because you're unhappy. It's another because you think you can do better. Biggest flag here is that you stayed because she had utility, which makes me think that the problem in your relationship had more to do with you than the cheating. Anonymous response 5. I had a coworker with a similar midlife crisis. Wife and he were in their 40s, married 20 plus years. Kid was in college. Dude just kept talking about how he was a VP, who had money and a nice car, and went to the gym all the time, and his wife was below my current standards. She was a fairly attractive woman in her 40s, not overweight or ugly. She'd always been nice to me the couple times I met her at work, events like the holiday party or picnic. Anyway, they get divorced, and he spends the next year trying to meet girls on Tinder or whatever, and bitching about it at work. Meanwhile, his ex-wife meets a guy who runs a kids' sports camp company, and they hit it off, and she moves in with him. Long story short, coworker ends up trying to get back together with his wife after 2 years, and she tells him to F off, and he comes to work complaining, it's like, I have her 20 years of my life, and she just wants to throw that away. We just stared at him,